Good start from North Melbourne. Let's take you inside their huddle. This is their coach, David Loader, a few moments ago.
Again, Prusy, 5 or 6 minutes, mate. Okay, real impact, and then we'll switch that one around. Now, 2 or 3 things to be aware of. We need to have a look at what's happening around us, okay? So when we're using that ball and we overused it way too much in the first bit, when we had one-on-ones forward of the ball, we should have been taking those kicks in. So when we can identify what's behind that footy through communication with our mid-forwards and that, we take that kick in and we go to one-on-ones. Dangerous forward of the ball, okay? The second half is when they put numbers back and they put them back deep. Then that opens up for those hit-ups to come into play then. All right, so be really smart on that. Forward 50 stoppages. They weren't rounding up. They were holding 6 and holding them well back. So our defensive line needs to get in nice and tight, help us defend, but get in a position where you can get used. You can't be 25.
Thanks to David Loader there. He talked about overuse. Handball receives in that first quarter, 43-15 North Melbourne. They did just get a bit handball happy.
Yeah, they certainly did. They had 59 handballs all up to 42 kicks. So their kick-to-handball ratio on a ground like this probably not quite right, which he was addressing then at quarter time.
Especially when you've got big, strong contested marking targets that just want the ball to get in quick.
Exactly right. So by all means, link up off the half-back line, overlap and run. But when you look up and you've got one-on-ones inside your forward 50, kick it in and give your forwards a chance.
And it was good adjustment from Sandringham. They coached themselves on the run. They changed their ball movement. They realised if you go slow, that plays into North Melbourne's defensive hands.
No doubt. It's a really important couple of goals late in that first quarter for Sandringham. And they were probably the better side in the last 7 or 8 minutes of that quarter. So fascinating to see how the players react to the adjustments their coaches would have just made at quarter time.
So it'll be Hayden McLean starting in the ruck for Sandy, the 19-year-old from Bowie, playing his 5th VFL game up against Braden Bruce.
And the one thing that's not going to change is Braden Bruce isn't going to get any smaller as the game goes on. So they're going to continue to have to ruck off his, or try and pick up his ruck work, the Sandringham midfielders.
Second term, Sevens VFL match of the day. It's North Melbourne by 14 points. McLean wins the football, puts it out into the path of Lamb. Davies Uniacke comes through, beats him to the footy. Gives a little handball over the top to Rippon. His handball almost intercepted by Carnival. Here's Lamb. He goes short, finds Brady Seckle. 8th touch for him coming up. Hoisted high towards half forward. Durden worked Matera off the line. Free kick going to Lewis Cunningham. Played 3 games with Port Melbourne last year. That kick's floated wide. Out of bounds on the full, so an early opportunity here for the Zebs.
Tom Lamb kicked the second goal in time on for them then, but he's going to delegate it down to McLean, who's continuing a long line of Zebras. His grandfather captained the club in the 50s. Uncle and Dad, who both played the highest level of the game, also played here in the 80s. Seckle off a step, gets a lot of purchase on that. In the end, Bruce spoils Mackay at the fall. Cunningham gets another chance. McLean flies in. Strong mark over Davies Uniacke. He's looking for his options in the corridor. They need to work the ball around Bruce. He's going to go back in that vicinity, and the big man camps under it.
That's the thing. McLean, second inside 50 for the quarter. It's going to be called a block here, so a free kick, but he just kicked the ball inside 50 once, and they spoiled it and got it out. Why do the exact same thing again? And really fortunate there. And Mackay just helping Braden Bruce come back here and take the mark. And oh, it's one of those ones. He did interfere in the marking contest, but
so unnecessary. I mean, in terms of understanding the game, Braden Bruce was going uncontested to that footy. He was never going to miss it. The door ajar now for Battle. This will be 3 in a row for the Zebras. Battle. And here's 10-11 for the year, and that is the blot on his copybook at the moment, and maybe the stopgap between him and a recall to St Kilda's AFL team.
You can never be too critical of a player that's trying to do the team thing and look after one of his teammates there. It's just unfortunate the umpire picked that free kick, because sometimes they don't.
Long ball outside 50. Nielsen at the front. Provat front and centre at speed. Rippon. This good ball movement. Clark goes to Narrier. Handball went behind him, though. That allowed Weikart to win it. Could come back the other way now for Sandy. Langlands Armitage is going to be run down. Tries to slip the Mackay tackle. Gives it off to Carnival. He'll bounce the ball towards half forward. Thundering out to meet it was Hayden. Beaten to the football. Opportunity here for North Melbourne through Jansen. Ripping down the line to Rovat. Tries to step inside Armitage. Ball taken to the line as we head down to Lauren Arnell. Loz, you're in the Sandy huddle at quarter time.
Yeah, message to the midfield at the Sandy huddle was definitely to rove to the North Melbourne Taps with that height and size advantage. They've asked their backs just to beat their direct opponent, take territory, look for Sandringham to be really aggressive in their ball use this quarter.
Gets to the back, Lamb, McLean, handball, couldn't find a target. Cunningham's ball chopped off. Canellan fashes a little ball forward. Battle, chips it up. Can someone find it? A collapse of players. Nielsen and maybe another player down there. Looks like Zilla. Bruce, meanwhile, trots away, sends it deep. Larkey out the back's going to mark it. There's no one inside forward 50. Hayden is darting back there. Larkey's kick off the side of his boot. Junker, who gets the bounce. Oh, Zerha, handed a Tats lotto ticket. Darts in and goals.
Let's take another look. Jimmy Zilla, number 15, comes over the top, gets knocked over and crunched. He's just got to his feet.
5 players there, all with eyes on the ball, and unfortunately, Zilla was the man in the middle, but he's back up to his feet there, and it was good transition footy from the Kangaroos as that was all unfolding. Great kick by Larkey into space and let Zerha run onto an open goal.
Son of former Saint Stephen Zillo, played 156 games for St Kilda and Richmond. His Clark coming away for North Melbourne. Another direct inside 50 to Larkey, and he has got sticky hands.
You can't stop that. That was just a really clean centre clearance. Good kick in. Goddard was doing absolutely everything he could. But like you said, Larkey's hands, one grab on this occasion and it just stuck.
He does the fundamentals well. He's got a great pair of hands. And he's kicked 20 goals, 7 for the season. 41-17 in the VFL. That is elite conversion.
Give him a game, surely.
Had 2 games late in 2017 at AFL level. Larkey for his second this afternoon. No problem. So Nick Larkey, 28 shots at goal. He's kicked 21-7. Compare that to Josh Battle, who missed at the other end, who's kicked 10-11. That's the difference between the two at the moment as we head down to Loz.
Yeah, Jimmy Zilla looks like he'll probably need a concussion test from that collision, and Tom Lamb just in front of us now with what looks to be a bit of a sore right hip. He's come to the bench to see the physio, but moving okay.
Thanks, Loz. Answorth and Smith trying to combine here in attack. Stripped as Smith by Davies Uniacke, and Rippon just thinks his way through things, waits for the handball, releases Clark, who hits up Leonardis. North propelling themselves forward again, and Nick Larkey out the back again. This man can find space where seemingly no other forward can. This would be his third.
He was on the end of some really quick ball movement, good skills there, but Nick Larkey last year, 21 goals for the season. He's already got 21 goals this year in just 8 games of football.
21-10 last year, 21-7 this year.
Yep.
So he had 4 in the opening half last week against Box Hill as the Kangaroos sizzled away from the Hawks.
Uncharacteristic miss there.
So 2-1 for Larkey, and as tends to happen as soon as we wrap any form of forward, even one that's kicked 2 goals to every behind this season, he finds a way to miss as we see Jimmy Zilla back on his feet, and you'd imagine he'll be back entering the fray shortly.
Caulfield, quick movement again. They look to go outside 50. It's punched away from Batten. He receives it back, tries to flip a handball over the top to Carnival. In there working was Leonardis. Ball bounces towards the middle of the ground. Big ball here for Sandy to win. Cunningham stands up in the tackle after a fumble from Nathan Smith. Ball inside 50, he gets on the end of it to Canellan. And the Irishman from County Westmeath. His second year on the St Kilda rookie list, playing his 24th VFL game this afternoon.
Great delivery there from the big man as well. Hayden McLean just lowered his eyes.
Started at half-back, did Ray last year, as so many of the Irishmen do, just to learn the game, Brownie, and they looked at his lightning quick. He's got the second fastest ever combine speed for 20 metres, 2.78 seconds. So they've moved him into the forward half to provide that speed, pressure, but not the finish on this occasion, behind.
My PB was 2.73, but it wasn't at the combine.
Yeah, no, fair enough.
And it was over 15 metres.
And it was, and it was wind assisted.
No, that is quick, and the Irishman, he looks like a natural forward as well, which obviously learnt plenty playing down back.
Bruce Goddard took the front spot. Chance here for Armitage. Dinky little kick for Verma to the outside. Answorth off 2 steps. Didn't get the purchase he needed, and as a result, out of bounds on the fall. And Aaron Hamill watching the tape back at the moment. The batteries are coming out of the remote and they're going at the TV. They're getting opportunities, but they just cannot finish. Josh Battle could have made it 8 points. Instead, the margin's 25. McLean's going to fly, bodied out of it. Hayden stayed down. Tries to get through a couple. He's going to be ridden to the line.
It's got to stay at it, don't they, Brownie, at the moment? They're creating the opportunities, Sandy.
Yeah, they are, and it'll turn like it did in the second part of the first quarter. If they can get their inside game happening, that will certainly help, because at the moment, North Melbourne been quite dominant.
Bruce, Answorth hangs off him. Walker stripped. Seckle just going to try and kick to a dangerous position. Fisher, body on body. Smith on the scene again. He's a thief.
I've just been speaking about Sandringham needing to win the inside ball. Kangaroos had it. There was a turnover. Brady Seckle wins that contested situation, kicks it to the top of the square to the dangerous space. And again, Nathan Smith putting himself in the right position for a small forward.
Sandy winning the clearances and the contested possessions so far in this second term. Remember, the contested possessions were 49-29 in the opening term to North. So that's how the Zebras are getting back in the contest. North have it on this occasion. Hibbert towards half forward. Attacking it was Carnival. Spills to the back. Zerha dribbles at goalward. It's bending right. Jackson Hill happy to see it, and Junker over the line.
He's got so much X factor. Zerha, just see the way he just cleanly picked that ball up, running at full pace.
Around the grounds, Box Hill by 14 points over Werribee, and Geelong by 13 over the Northern Blues in the second term. Get you up to date with all the VFL men's and women's action at half-time. Chance here for North. It's at the top of the square. Coming through hard was Batten. Just had to throw it on the boot. Umpire says deliberate. It's going to be a free kick to North, and Nick Rippon as Lamb comes off, Loz.
Yeah, well, Zilla was the one that looked worse off from the collision earlier, but it's Tom Lamb that's come off again, holding that right hip and going into the room. Zilla looks like he's going to come back on shortly.
Rippon sets it up for those big contested marks. And that is Nick Larkey's bread and butter. He's clunked another.
You just cannot allow that. It was a slow play. The defenders and the midfielders had plenty of time to set up structurally then. And for Nick Larkey just to waltz out and take a mark like that amongst a pack of so many players is unforgivable.
6 possession, 5 marks. He's already kicked 2 goals, 1. Chance for a very handy 25-point lead. Larkey keeps it low and nurses it through. He's got 3. So Tom Lamb's been one of Sandringham's best this year. There's he coming sore there, just a twist to the lower back around the hip area, and then Rippon just pops it up for Larkey.
Yeah, and if you're Hugh Goddard, you should just be absolutely berating some of your teammates. Yes, he needs to be better in the air, but he deserves and should expect some support. Cherry
put it down the throat of Clark. Ball forward, and from the back, the athletic Walker over the top of Weikart. Zerha's got the sit here. Oh, he's got X factor, he's got Y factor, he's got Z factor.
He is a very good footballer, this man. We just saw the pick-up running at full pace only a minute earlier. He's kicked a really good goal this quarter, and that was a nice ride there.
Little welcome to the VFL for the first game of Christian Carnival.
He got posterised.
Zerha. Margin out to 31 points.
We identified pre-game the 2 areas that North could dominate: clearances and contested marks. In the last 5 minutes, they've done both.
Yeah, no doubt. And Sandringham would have come into this game knowing that as well, so they need to be better.
Seckle puts his head down, wins the hard ball, bounces it towards Zilla. Coming through, doing well there was Fisher. Gets it on the boot, gets good range on the kick, but once again, it's offline. Frustration continues to build for the Zebs. But an opportunity to set up here adjacent to the behind post.
North Melbourne this year building some great depth amongst their list.
So Bruce to go in the ruck against Battle. Bruce at the front, but it's stolen by Seckle. Throws it on the boot, bends it around, it's touched.
Again, though, Seckle just showing his experience then. Knows exactly what he needs to do at some of these forward 50 stoppages. He sharked that off Bruce's ruck tap perfectly.
Game high 13 possessions for the Zebras. Clark's had 15 for North as Hibberd receives. Fraser Cameron, they look to run it through the middle of the ground. Good run down tackle there from Canellan.
They weren't going to get away from him, and that was just a great bit of defensive work from the Irishman, because they had the overlap, they were running and carrying, and with the back on the back of that tackle, he changes the whole momentum of that chain of possession.
Verma wins the free kick, but it's turned over to Cameron at defensive 50. Cameron puts it into the path of Morgan. Morgan's got Clark in some space. Runs away from Langlands, and flirts with the boundary line. Off the hands of the contest for a throw-in.
Just need more frontal pressure. At the moment, the Kangaroos trying to run and carry off the half-back line. That happened right in front of us. All the Sandringham players happy just to stand off, go straight at him, force him to make a decision by foot or by hand.
Ryan Clark with a game-high 16 possessions. Bruce over his head. Canellan not going to get free of Hogan and Rovat.
Same again. Keep the meter.
Game being played in absolutely perfect early winter conditions as Rippon taken off the ball, and Nick Rippon's got a chance to join Ryan Clark as the game's leading possession getter so far. Just his 5th kick to go with 11 handballs. Larkey trying to work his way to the front. Stripped Goddard in harm's way and going to ground Seckle. Nick Larkey doing it both on offence and defence. In the pocket, Rippon now in some space, it sits for him, he works away. Narrier dances around Langlands, inboard for Hogan, can't spin free of the Seckle tackle. Sandy well and truly playing some blue claw footy at the moment.
Important 10 minutes here.
Their game's just got away from them, but it hasn't in the last 10. They were right in it after being 14 points adrift at quarter time. Answorth to Seckle. 2 of their critical prime movers. Off the contest to Mackay. Ball punched out to Rippon. Goes to the support of Cameron. Good pressure from Sandringham. Forces the throw. Zebras looking to lift their intensity as we approach time on in the second term at Beach Oval. Verma. High kick towards the wing. Hayden will fly at the back. Does enough to force a contest. Canellan at ground level. Rippon and Morgan in to lay a tackle. Hold it up. Force another stoppage. The home of the Zebras. Bruce, beautiful tap. Straight into the path of Jansen. Didn't have to break stride. And he delivers to Hayden.
Silver service.
Exactly the way they drew it up. And Kyron Hayden. Chance to kick his 2nd for the afternoon.
You're online there. Thank you.
This is a man with a huge leap on him. He broke Nick Nat's draft combine record last year with the vertical leap, 103 a couple of years ago, actually. Didn't need to jump on that occasion, just needs to finish here.
It's a really talented prospect, and that is a beautiful finish. He's got 2, and the Kangas look good. Well, Brownie, the turnaround at the North Melbourne Football Club over the last 12 to 18 months has been extraordinary. When you see the quality of the young AFL-listed players,
yep,
there's a lot to be excited about.
Building some great depth there, and look, it was great ruck work from Bruce, but if you're a Sandringham midfielder, you can get goal side of your opponent, not allow them that free space out of the stoppage.
Zilla back in the action, Caulfield, handball bobbled by Lamb, and away goes Fraser Cameron. Got options inboard. Cunningham will take it back to the outside for Hogan. Just going to put it deep, walk out. Larkey splits the plaque. Zerha at the fall. He's mercurial at best. That time the boundary umpire's going to beat him. Cam Zerha off 4 goals last week. We've got a couple in this quarter. 6 for the season in the VFL from 4 starts.
Played really well against the Hawks in round 5. Kicked a couple of goals. So been in and out of that senior side and putting his hand right up for another call-up.
Bruce. absolutely dominating at the stoppages, as you'd expect. No Billy Long out this afternoon, despite being named in the Zebras original squad. Flip to the outside, Zerha can't work free. Answorth manufactures the kick. Jansen couldn't find the original target in the end. Kick will work its way forward. Carnival almost got hands to it. Lamb now in defence. Shares it with Hill, and away go the running Zebras. Carnival, Cook. Kick take low down by Batten.
So Lockie Batten, 21-year-old, originally from Berwick and Doveton, spent some time at Casey. Dangerous kick inboard. Lamb makes it good. Wants to attack up the middle, but misses material with the kick. Morgan the other way. Here's Flash Gordon. Naria off a step, inside 50. And Walker on the end of it.
Well, the initial kick to Lamb only just got there, and then Lamb pulls the trigger on a kick into the corridor that just misses. And that's going to cost them another opportunity in front of goal. You just cannot afford to miss targets coming out of your back half.
Will Walker, 19 years of age, played his junior footy at the Hampton Rovers and East Sandringham. Sandy Dragons, taken at pick 23 in last year's draft, having played soccer all the way really up until TAC Cup level. Stuttering approach, but he punches it through. Six goals to 1 in this second term, margin out to 42 points.
Eerily similar to last week. It's like the brown stripe on the Box Hill jumper's been exchanged for a black one on the Sandringham, and North have just continued on their merry way. Bruce flips it to Rippon, gets his way free. He's amazing around the contest. To the outside for Hibbert. Through the hands of Larkey, caught one in the back of the head. Caulfield, meanwhile, puts it into the hands of Lamb. Kicks around the body, Seckle into some space. Sandringham mustering some run. Seckle punches the kick into space for Hayden. Needing options in the corridor or going back to have a go himself. Armitage.
It's taken too long now.
The option there for him. Now eventually he'll settle and try and take his chances. Going to take his best effort. He gets close to the mark. Little gallop as he kicks right to the line. Got to wonder where Nathan Smith is in this instance, and eventually North can see it over and neutralise the threat.
Just had to move a little bit quicker than Hayden.
Up until then, it was excellent ball movement, wasn't it? It's that real quick movement off half-back when they look dangerous.
And he had options on. A couple of forwards presented straight at the ball carrier, somewhere over the top, and he would have known he was right on his range.
Cunningham long. That's a very good mark by McLean. Good signs from Hayden McLean. Impressive youngster to Claverino. He looks for a target inside a congested forward 50. Clears the contest. Battle comes thundering out. Armitage taken down in a tackle by Rippon.
I like that though. Hayden McLean kicked the ball long inside 50 a couple of times earlier in the quarter, and I had a bit of a go at him for not looking down the line and seeing the big ruckman. So on this occasion, goes lateral and tries to come in another way. It was smart play by the big man.
Bruce against Armitage. No prizes for guessing who wins that, but Armitage at ground level, back to Bruce. Gets a little bit of distance on his kick, but only as far as Weikart. Can someone get a shot at goal out of this? Caulfield, he'll feed it back. Hayden, that's not 15. Tries to slip a tackle. Pressure as the North defence collapse in on the football. Hogan wraps it up.
What's that saying, Jace? The definition of insanity is if you keep doing the same thing over and over and over again and expecting the same result.
That's the one.
It's good that they've changed a few things up then.
Yet we keep turning up every Saturday, Jason.
Working with me's not insane.
It's nice to have you back, Brownie. Just glad you got out of Alice Springs okay.
Always.
Errant kick in the contest. Kangaroos are going to move this ball out of the defensive area. Braden Bruce, who's had 36 hit-outs, 12 to advantage. Kick not the best, though, and Mitch Hibbert not pleased about it either. Big Braden Bruce, though. No excuses for him this afternoon with Sandy's ruck stocks threadbare. Hayden McLean in his first VFL season, battling manfully, and Sean Fisher on VFL debut. Running around in the amateur reserves against Old Melburnians last Saturday, and here he is tackling 17 AFL-listed players in this impressive North lineup. Cunningham's kick also a bit sloppy. Time for Nielsen. Shapes it. He was dealt with down the line, and Hibbert can take the advantage, and it's a big advantage at that. North runners everywhere. Hibbert will go 1-2 with Morgan. Back to Mackay. Peels off a big keep deep, and Claverino was always going to eat that up.
Oscar Claverino will go short, find Lamb. Wants the switch. He's got Weikart in space. Now he comes up the middle to Goddard. Now Carnival. Carnival's kick, a little wide for Zilla. He'll gather just inside the line. Wants to use the support of Caulfield, who's worked to the line. So once again, they bring it back into the corridor, Browning. Look like they're going to go aggressively up the middle, and then they swing it wide.
Yeah, it makes it very frustrating for some of the forwards that had worked really hard to present across the far side. Guys like Josh Battle, and they bring it back and miss their target. They end up getting no result at all. The ball's still not forward of centre for Sandringham.
Bruce tried to lay it over the back, but Wright got on the end of it. Bouncing football. Good attack on it from Cunningham. Coming through the other way. Wright again. Morgan got a hand on it. Still a chance here for Sandringham. Seckel receives the handball from Smith. Attacks the goal. Can't quite bounce it through. Mackay runs it over.
Desperately unlucky there. Seckel been superb this afternoon. That's disposal number 17. He didn't even have time to look at where the goals were. He just instinctively knew where they were. Needed a favourable bounce, and he didn't get one.
Brady Seckel went to Adelaide to study law at Flinders University. His law degree's over. Third year in a row, Sandringham asked if he was coming back, and finally he said yes, and they're glad he did.
Weikart stopped Cunningham in his tracks. Seckel, too much on that handball for Weikart. Jansen there for nuisance value. Provat in the corridor, and North are going to put the foot down here. Walker takes off, can't get around Caulfield. You can play like that when the scoreboard's in your favour, but a good stop for Sandringham. Nick Caulfield, this will be his 16th possession so far. Goes lateral. Zerha could have dashed away to goal. He might get a second chance, although Matera was dealt with.
Dodged a huge bullet there because they were away, the Kangaroos. First the drop mark, and then the free kick again saved.
Matera wants to find Battle, got the hands free, and was being just slightly held, was he?
Oh, I heard a whistle. Someone blew a whistle then.
If you want, mate, I'll come through.
And then they're saying out of bounds, which it wasn't out of bounds.
Did you hear a whistle?
Yeah, definitely, and Josh Battle stopped.
He stopped. I thought he was going to get a free kick for the hold in the marking contest then.
Somehow the ball's meandered its way here to probably 25 to 30 metres, perhaps further than it should have.
Really strange.
No umpires fessed up to blowing it.
Lamb now having his turn in the ruck. Gets it back from Verma. Kick ricochets into hands here. Smith again. Provat, was it into the ground? No. Tackle effective and a big stop. Smith was eyeing off a third goal.
He's clever, isn't he, around goals? Just on that occasion, tried to sell a little bit too much candy, but you don't mind that. Could have quite easily been given the free kick for in the back as well, so he's creating a few headaches up forward.
That goes short to Cunningham in the back pocket, who's really slotted nicely into this North Melbourne defence. Although that kick's too wide for Mackay. And a late opportunity here for the Zebras to pull one back. You have a look there, the inside 50s for the quarter, 12-11 Sandringham. Yet North have taken full advantage, have kicked 6 goals to 1.
Yeah, very efficient going forward.
High ball in again for the Zebras. Armitage is there. McLean will come over the top. Couldn't quite. Ground level, quick snap at goal from Lamb. And Davies Uniacke will run it through.
North not wasting any time despite the status of the clock and the scoreboard ripping. Jansen, too much on it for Mackay, and North's game style has just been a little bit scrubby in the last 5 minutes, Campbell.
It has, but they do try and play on really quickly from kick-ins. On a few occasions this afternoon, we've seen them go coast to coast with that overlap run, but a good stop there from Sandringham. They get another opportunity here for a repeat forward 50 entry.
No goals in the last 8 minutes, so they've just momentarily stopped the bleeding here, the Zebras. They'd love one back the other way.
Thanks, guys.
Heading into half-time. Just the 8 St Kilda listed players in this Sandringham lineup today, and 3 VFL debutants, and Nick Caulfield playing his first game at the Zebras as well. Cook, lost by Cunningham, found by Hayden. Was he taken high? Yes. So maybe Jonathan Hayden a chance to make up for that earlier shot. He was a little bit further out, a little bit wider, but virtually he's had a sider now.
We don't see too many players these days with a genuine ponytail. A lot of them use the real top knot sort of setup, but Hayden obviously going old school.
And he's gone the fast bowler's run up as well. An ode to Ben Brown, almost. So Jonathan Hayden playing his local football with Seaford. 4-5 at VFL level this year. Is going to work that home. Good play, and the Zebras do get the one they wanted just before the break.
Though the margin is now 33 points, you just get the feeling if Sandringham didn't correct a couple of things at half-time, they're not out of this contest by any stretch of the imagination. They've had equal amount of inside 50s this quarter as the Kangaroos. If they can slow down some of that quick slingshot ball movement off the back half, create some turnovers, get the ball a little bit deeper inside 50 quicker, give their forwards an opportunity. Josh Battle, unfortunately, has been competing against 2, 3, 4 players in the air. You can see by the last scores that they are getting opportunity.
Yeah, they're getting a look, aren't they? They're just got to take advantage. Here's Seckle again. What a first half he's playing. Ball inside 50, pitches in front of Mackay, did well, attacked it, gave it to Durden, floats it high, it's going to drift wide, and another opportunity here for Sandringham.
That was the definition of a floater, that one. Just went straight up, wind got hold of it.
32.5 minutes, Dalton Langlands. It's going to be brought around right in amongst our Channel 7 crew. Langlands wastes no time to the top of the square. Bruce sets himself. Good effort from McLean to at least force a contest, and that could be important.
Been really good, McLean, this quarter. Big boy, big body presenting. He's up against it, against a much bigger opponent, but he's competing well.
Head towards 33 minutes. Bruce, no one went up for Sandy, so they had the extra number at ground level.
It's not a bad idea against a guy like Bruce. They know they're not going to win the hit out, so why not leave an extra man on the ground?
See if they do it again. Lamb at the moment is standing next to Bruce, just enough to stop him from easily taking it out of the ruck and throwing it on his boot. But does just enough and then wins the ball. Lamb tackled when not in possession. Umpire said play on. Hogan, it's a mad scramble in there. North with lots of numbers around it.
I think it happened by accident more so than strategy, but it's certainly something that they could look at half-time.
Sandy need to build the wall as they have across half forward. If it comes out quickly, it's all them. Bruce's kick smothered. Langlands gives it to Lamb. Flying shot at goal was always going to be low percentage, and Larky happy to tap it through.
Well, if you're Sandringham, you're very happy to see a guy like Bruce take the ball out of the air in the ruck, because if you just set upon him, he's every chance not to be able to get ball to boot.
It was actually lucky he didn't get good purchase on that, because if he had kicked it 30 or 40 metres, it would have come straight back. And at half-time, North Melbourne with a handy lead, but this game feels far from over. The Kangas just so efficient in that second term. They kicked 6 goals 1 to Sandringham's 2 goals 7. So Sandy with more scoring shots, yet they trail by 32 points, 14 shots to 12 North's way in the first half. Very impressive half of football from them, Lauren Arnell.
Yeah, I've got Nick Rippon. Nick, it's obviously a pretty dominant quarter, but that last 10 minutes went Sandy's way.
Yeah, I think we sort of went away with what we've been doing for the rest of the game, and sort of put ourselves under pressure coming out of the back 50. So certainly control the game, get back to what we're doing in the first half, our first quarter. And
certainly the control in the centre clearances have been from Braden Bruce initially. What's the adjustments you'll make from there?
Yeah, look, we know they had a real strong midfield, and that's where we wanted to beat them today, and you know, that's going to go a long way into the outcome of winning this match. So yeah, hopefully we can continue it in the second half.
All the best for the next half.
Thanks, Lauren. Cheers.